Welcome back. So I'll be talking about the Memphis Massacre of 1866, and I'll be reading directly from a scholarly article by Kimberly Lewis, and it was written in 2024. And no, it won't be boring. Starting. In 1866, Memphis's treasury was practically empty. Debts mounted and the city entered a recession, only surviving thanks to northern capital and investment. With this background of looming impoverishment in the wreckage of the former Confederacy, tensions brewed. The black community of Memphis, including the black Union troops stationed at Fort Pickering, a former Confederate Army base before the city's wartime capture, had a history of fractious and occasionally violent relations with the city's Irish population. From the capture of Memphis by Union forces during the Civil War to April 1866, the black population had rapidly increased. A black upper class emerged, and black schools and churches proliferated. With the economy spiraling toward a depression, the expansion of the black community and their quest for employment caused considerable alarm amongst the thousands of white refugees and unemployed Irish laborers seeking work. Irish-black conflict began to expand beyond mere economics and employment as the overwhelmingly Irish police force, with a silent acceptance of the city's government, invoked a campaign of revenge and victimization against the developing black community. The antagonism erupted into violence on May 1st, 1866. After receiving their long-awaited back pay and being mustered out of service, several black veterans began drinking and celebrating on South Street, the unofficial boundary between white and black Memphis. For the police, the drunken celebration was rowdy, disorderly, and needed to be dealt with. Especially, this is me talking, because they're black bodies and need to be controlled, right? The police attempted to make arrests but were forced to retreat by the black veterans, prompting the police to seek reinforcements. When the police returned, there was another confrontation, resulting in both sides firing shots. But whilst the veterans fired into the air because they didn't mean to hurt anyone, the spooked police officers, and maybe entitled, believing they were under attack, or so they said, fired into the crowd of veterans, freed women, and children gathered in the street. Please excuse me if I don't believe their justification. Almost instantaneously, the situation spiraled out of control. The veterans returned to Fort Pickering, where many remained for the duration of the violence. So they started it and they're gone, whilst the police headed uptown to gather yet more reinforcements. Rumors and exaggeration raced along the retreating police, whipping up tensions and encouraging knee-jerk reactions from African Americans and whites. A crowd of whites assembled, white Irish, attacking freed men as they left their workplaces in downtown Memphis. After terrorizing the immediate area, the mob headed towards the overwhelmingly black and completely unprepared neighborhoods of South Memphis, meaning people who were not involved and did not bother you. They were going to pick on them, punching down. After an initial thrust into South Memphis, the white mob headed northward, targeting any African Americans they could find. Sometime after 10 p.m. on May 1st, the white rioters again swept southwards, and civic and police officials failed to control or calm them. Throughout the night, assaults, sexual assaults, robberies, and home invasions took place across South Memphis. The bulk of the mob repeatedly evaded, either intentionally or accidentally, the small number of federal troops sent to patrol South Street. Eventually, the patrols ceased due to a lack of manpower. The The following night, May 2nd, after a daytime lull in violence, the mobs unleashed a new wave of hell on South Memphis. By roughly 2 a.m., the sky was aglow as flames consumed numerous black houses, businesses, and victims. The places of their jealousy, the houses, the businesses, the things they envy. By daybreak on May 3rd, no black churches or schools remained standing. Countless terrified black civilians sought refuge in Fort Pickering, and the city's northern-born population fled to Illinois by riverboat, fearful they would be the next target. On May 3rd, some 40 hours after the violence began, they let it simmer. They were cooking it, stewing it. Major General George Stoneman declared martial law and requested federal reinforcements from Nashville. Federal troops patrolled the city streets and peace was restored. Could have been done before that. The military, the Freedmen's Bureau, and Congress conducted investigations into the massacre, providing a grim corpus of reading for contemporaries and historians. By the time federal troops retook Memphis, 46 African Americans and 2 whites lay dead. 75 freed people had been injured. 5 freed women had been horrifically assaulted and raped, and estimated property damages amounted to more than $130,000, a lot of money at that time. In the aftermath, there was no prosecutions or repercussions for the white rioters. On May 4th, police fired on several African Americans, but no further action was taken. Yeah, why not punish the victims? Tennessee's Metropolitan Police Bill removed the overwhelming majority of police officers and firemen, and during subsequent municipal elections, only the city treasurer and city register were re-elected. The Irish stronghold on civic Memphis was over. The black community rebuilt with northern donations, held dances, and campaigned for equal rights and equal suffrage voting. So that's there. So I'm going to just say a little here that the Irish people, yeah, we always hear that they were ill-treated, similar to black people. Not quite so. You can both have an oppressed identity and be an oppressor at the same time, because we're seeing right there they control the police force, as it would continue in many places. They were in charge, they had power, they had the power to vote, which black people did not have. And as somebody said, the poorest Irish person in terms of power had more power than the richest black person. So yes, and that power, when threatened, was weaponized and turned into violence. And they punched down. Yes, there are other white people that discriminate against them, yes, but they never seem to punch up to them who are hurting them, but they find it okay to punch down to black people. So you cannot deny the racism. It's there. So yeah, you could be claiming I'm oppressed. Yes, a woman could be beaten by her husband and abusing her child. The two things can be occurring at once. So there we have it, the Memphis Massacre of 1866. But feel free to tell me what you think. Thanks so much for listening.